Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men power want? More power.
My name is Gianluca-Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid. That we talked about were thought to be fringe ideas, radical ideas, extremist ideas. Those ideas are now mainstream.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless
What's Uncle Tom but for white women who disappoint other white women?
One way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy, so please bring on the recession.
When was the last time an actor assassinated the president?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Here we go, another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Last Sunday I wasn't on the show. You heard, probably you didn't hear me. It was just a replay. As I said, a lot of things are happening, and I don't want to cry and I don't want to rush the show. This is now 1 hour only. I used to do 3 hours, as you know, and I couldn't do anymore. But sometimes even 1 hour, it takes me the time. And as I said, I don't want to rush something. I would like to give you always the best I can, do my researches, and try to deliver a message that at least has a purpose. I don't like to hear myself talking with no sense. So anyway, sorry about that, but here I am, I'm back. You just heard right now this sort of mix. I found it on the internet. I think it's a new movie, Unhinged, something like that. Documentary, excuse me. This is just a little sample of what type of hate, and right now violence also, is started to be displayed, let's say, by this group that I don't like to call them left or liberals, because it's a very much of a division in a way that makes no sense. I am not right, I'm not left. I just see freedom or tyranny. I see government as your new god, or just see individuals' rights. So the point is, these people that they call themselves left or liberals, unfortunately, right now they're showing something that not even the right wing ever showed. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are crazy people from both sides, but if you look at reality here, if you ever heard during the Obama administration anybody being threatened like they doing, the acts of violence, people being thrown out of public places. Yes, there was a Supreme Court case. Now they said that the baker that refused to do the little cakes or whatever for the gay, the gay couple, is right, is individual right to exercise his First Amendment. And also, my opinion is beyond that. This is not just about religious belief. This is about the fact that if you're constricted, if you're forced to work for somebody, I don't care who, if you're not in the public sector, that means if you're not, let's say government different, but when you're in the private sector, okay, and you work for yourself, you don't collect any type of public tax dollar, you should be free to make or lose money the way you wish. Because the moment that we as individual business, or at least private businesses, we are forced to work for somebody, I don't care who is or who she is. At that point, I would call that slavery. So, yes, the Supreme Court gave somehow the rights to decide what you want to do in your business. I think that's amazing, in my opinion. And at the same time, they use it in the little Red Hen, whatever, restaurant against the speaker of the White House, Maccabee or whatever, whatever the Maccabee daughter. The point is beyond that. This is now, it's coming to developing to a way that is beyond just some sort of skirmish, or at least displays of, differences of opinions. No, this is about right now getting down to violence. Because there is a thin line between what you would call freedom of speech, engaging your political opponents, and then getting into a new level of, let's say, frontal assault. I mean, what you heard now, these people, unfortunately, right now, they will not tolerate anything President Trump is doing, no matter what. They prefer him to fail. You heard them. They don't want these immigration laws enforced, and I'll tell you more why. So the point is now, it's like almost like a big monster. When you start to, let's say, hit him in the right spot, he starts to constrain and scream and yell, almost like a vampire. You pour garlic or you pour olive water or whatever, and the vampire will start screaming and yelling like really painful. And that's what's coming down to. Listen, I want to repeat you, I'm not a Republican. I'm not even a Trumpy. I have a lot of criticism for President Trump. At the same time, I respect one thing. He's doing a lot of things that he promised. He failed on some things that he promised, but he's doing a lot of things that he promised, especially when it comes down to illegal immigration and to sovereignty and borders. Other things I might not agree, but I'll tell you one thing though. What he's doing, in my opinion, is amazing. Is exactly the opposite of what the globalists want. I mean, look at Macron, the president of France, prime minister of France, whatever it is. Look at all these other European countries, besides some exceptions, like Italy now, they're having a break. But they look at Canada. What they want, they're just implementing the global elite plan of destruction of sovereignty. Open borders. That means no more borders. And now what Trump has been doing, President Trump has been doing, is just try to enforce what we're supposed to do when it comes down to our national sovereignty and borders. And let me articulate a little more. You know the plan. The New World Order plan, the globalist plan, is to create one world government. How do you create that? First of all, dissolving all the borders. And that's what the European community created. It means there is no more really borders between European communities, but now they want to also open the flood, and they did with the rest of the south of the world. That means all this country from North Africa and Africa, they completely now invading by the millions Europe. Okay? Number one, so you dissolve the borders, and then you create the conditions to be invaded. This is part of the Kalergi plan. By the way, this is not a conspiracy. Prime Minister Angela Merkel, she was awarded a few years ago with the Kalergi Award. You know, I've been talking about the Kalergi plan many times. Please go figure it out. Kalergi, K-A-L-E-R-G-I. Bottom line, this devil, in my opinion, years ago, during the 30s, it was one of these, let's say, intellectuals who were advocating this global government. And he wrote a book in German. By the way, you can find it on Amazon, kind of expensive, but it's there. And it shows exactly his plan. His plan is to destroy any type of national sovereignty, especially in Europe, and to create this new race, what is called the mud race. So that's what they're doing. They're doing it, they have long-term plans, and that's what they're doing it. Now, President Trump, I don't know how much really can stop all this, but I tell you, for sure, is putting sand in their engine. For sure, it's slowing down. And I tell you, now you see the same things that President Obama, I don't want to call him president, for me he wasn't a president, you know that, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic or dramatic. It's true. We still don't have his birth certificate, a real one. So, Mr. Obama, he's been doing the same things or at least when it comes down to the borders, yes, he had a policy to release, catch and release. That was a joke. They completely, and so all these countries out the borders, they very well knew that all they had to do, show up with children at the borders, and somehow they were going to be released. If you don't understand this, what it means, there are millions, if not billions of people from everywhere. But let's say just out of our borders. That, by the way, the hypocrisy of the government from Mexico, it's a hugest hypocrisy. Yeah, I would like to treat illegal aliens from southern border the same way Mexico government, the Mexican government treats their own illegal aliens from the southern border. That means really, really harsh laws. If you trespass the southern border of Mexico, Guatemala, or whatever, you will be arrested, beaten up. I mean, I don't want to beat up anybody, but my point, these hypocrites from the Mexican government, they have completely different standard, that they want to apply to them, when at the same time they treat the illegal aliens in a very not humane way. So, and by the way, the story, I was an immigrant. You're not talking here to some sort of redneck KKK affiliate. I am not even a nativist. Even the Southern Poverty Law, they did an article about me years ago in the nativist. I was born in Rome, Italy, guys. But I tell you one thing though, as an American who took an oath to defend this republic and constitution, I deeply believe that we must have a government that protects our borders and our sovereignty. Because the plan here, the big picture here, is destroying completely our borders. And I refuse, and I get so offended, I get really irritated when I have people out there that they think just because now there's enough mob out there on propaganda, media, controlled by the elite, by the way, that they're trying to justify that we cannot let them out. Oh, we are all immigrants. We are all brothers and sisters. Wait a second, as a human being, I feel so because I understand I wanted to come to America too. But let me tell you, I did not jump any fence. I did not jump any fence. Let me repeat it to you. I came with a visa here. I was trying to find out every legal way to be here as an American, to become an American. Instead, the situation here, they try to put all under the same bundle. We all have the right to come here. First of all, there is no right to come here. Unless you were born here, guess what? This is not a right. You can reclaim your rights in your own country. This is a privilege. That's the bottom line. So it is a very serious situation because they're trying to put us all in the same way. And you think now, just because they can use children as a free pass, and by the way, most of the children that they're being detained, it's pretty, I don't like detaining anybody, but I'll tell you the solution. The best way, we don't detain you. We just send you back. We stop you at the borders like Australia does. If you go to Australia illegally, normally by boat, because that's the only way you can get there, they will stop their boat in the middle of the ocean. There are some specific islands. They don't even let you hit the ground, the mainland. They send you back. So there is no detention. There is no separation. But let me tell you something. There is also a fact that is being proven. Out of 12,000 children, more than 10,000, they're not even proven to be really the children of these adults. There's a huge sex trafficking. There is a huge trafficking of children out there. And I tell you, I believe really, seriously, it's a responsibility at this point when they come to avoid that these children can be sexually exploited or sold or something that could be even worse, killed. So there is something that, unfortunately, and by the way, what President Trump has been doing, all the other presidents since Bill Clinton have been doing. They've been separating families at the borders and keeping them in these detention centers, whatever you want to call it. As I said, the solution will be very simple. Start to understand, wherever you're from, if you want to come to America, you do not cross the border illegally in the middle of the night. You go to a port of entry, you jump on the airplane, you get first of all a visa, some embassy, and then we can talk. Simple as that. So, but, there's a very disgusting thing now. It is not just what the media is doing, but also what all these political figures or even worse, actors are saying. Things that if there was anybody else on the other side saying things like that, they would have been fired. They would be even criminally prosecuted. I mean, I'll give you this one. Peter Fonda, actor that I'm not really fond, but that's the way it is, he's an actor. He called for Trump's 12-year-old son to be raped by pedophiles. Okay? And Sony Pictures is still releasing his movie. Roseanne made a little joke about somebody. It was an innocent joke, really. There wasn't any violence. I mean, you maybe a joke a little, I don't know, politically not correct. That's fine, but I wasn't advocating for violence or death to anybody. For anybody. Her show was cancelled, period. She was gone. Just to give you an idea. I mean, this is serious stuff. I mean, Maxine Waters going out and completely inciting the mob to go there and start to harass and follow in their private lives all the Trump people, the Trump supporters, or the Trump people who work for the administration. I mean, there is a really thin line, my opinion, between what we're seeing here that they want to call it freedom of speech. This is not freedom of speech. This becomes now a new level. We'll be talking about threats. We're talking about harassment. We're talking about also insurrection. I mean, they are the real revolutionary. We want to keep our republic. The point, these people, they want to create a new global socialism. And how do you do that? How do you do that? It's very simple. You need to, first of all, as I said, destroy the borders. Once the borders don't exist anymore, so national sovereignty is gone, anybody can come, they can bring as many people as they wish. At that point, what happens? You will have millions of people that they will be used as cadres, as the fifth column to destroy this republic. It's already been happening. Look at the last elections. We always been very, very close. How many millions of people that are supposed not even to vote? Illegal aliens. Let's spell it out. They've been voting. And after the elections, it's over. We count the votes and we figure it out. Some of them. How dangerous is this? Their goal is global socialism. That means complete tyranny that comes back to a plan. It's a global plan called global government. At the end of the day, who wants socialism? Whoever hates the competition. And now I'll tell you more. It's called government is your new God. And at that point will be a centralized global government controlled by the bankers, international central bankers. That's it. So, there is a thin line between freedom of speech and harassment, between protesting your own government and sedition, between disagreeing someone else's ideas and assault. I would like to remind all of you guys that you still believe this mentally derailed, full of hate, useful, propaganda idea. You idiots, yes, you idiots, who justify violence and harassment against Trump supporters. And by the way, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm just I respect the president because I believe he has at least some integrity doing things that he said. And I agree on some issue, but I was never a Trumpy. You know that. I'm not even a Republican. But I want to remind you this, that you better sure you can handle the consequences of your behavior. Once all this starts, you will make this violence start. This is not a video game where you can push the reset button when you get hurt. It is not another spilled mochaccino at Starbucks that you can clean up. You call for blood, you better be able to like the flavor of it, because some of us may already have it tasted before, and some of us, even may enjoy it. So you watch it. I call peace. I call for reason. I call for civility. I call for republic. Our constitution. A beacon of civilization. You call for riot. You call for mobs. You call for violence. It is our duty, American people who believe in our republic, to stop you and defend ourselves. That's all I'm saying. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We look at Zanna. Don't go away because we have much, much more to expose this evil plan of these evil bastards using the useful idiots of the new generation of brainwashed children. They're not really children, but they act like evil children. Okay? You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. We look at Zanna. Do not go away.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca-Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca-Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
When I think of the values, the aspirations, the bedrock foundations of what make this country so great, it is that it has been for literally centuries a beacon of light and hope that values individual rights and fundamental freedoms, where the labor of your work can bear fruits for your family, where you can be protected and your potential can be realized. And that has brought people from all walks of life, from all corners of this planet, to our shores. It brought my family here over 150 years ago. Our story is, in fact, an immigrant story. We know what history will say of this moment because we have been in this moment before. We saw it with the St. Louis. We saw it with Japanese internment camps during World War II. We have seen what the world thinks of the United States in the regard that it holds us at our highest moment, and how we look back at it when we have not been at our best. These are people. DACA recipients are dreamers, and they have become the fabric of our society, the fabric of our communities, and are as American as anybody else. This land is, in fact, theirs as well. We have an opportunity now to make sure that our country stands for them the way that they have invested in their home, too. President Trump continues to make that effort harder, if not impossible, by destroying a DACA program last September, scuttling a plan to try to make those ends meet in the Senate, and now without any clear path forward from our colleagues in the leadership in the Republican House of Representatives. We need your help. We need to make sure that our colleagues understand that if this administration is not going to address this problem, if Congress is not going to find a fix to this, then we in November are going to fix Congress, because we're going to stand for our neighbors and our friends, stand for our community members, and stand for the values that have always guided this country and that, yes, have made this country great.
And that was Representative U.S. Congressman Joe Kennedy. Before I throw up, let me try to control myself and just articulate a couple things. This clown, this is a clown in my opinion, is not stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing. Like many of the Democrats, propaganda liars out there, even Republicans who advocate for open borders, and they try to put everybody in the same pot. We are all immigrants. No. Immigrants, as I said again before in the other segment, is somebody who started this process recognizing the sovereignty of the nation where they're trying to apply to be part of it. I was an immigrant. Many like me, millions of them like me, were immigrants. We came, first of all, with the respect to be part of it, to try to assimilate, but more important to say, hey, we ask, we may beg, but we will follow the laws. We will follow and we respect your sovereign laws. What he's trying to do here, that everybody, let's say even the dreamers, people say, oh, but the poor children, first of all, the children now, they're grown up, but let's put it in this way. Let's put on the other side, I'm going to give you both sides. If you believe that children of people who broke the law, who thought they were smarter than others, and the children were brought here, technically and practically, illegally, breaking the laws, now they should have a pass. They should have some sort of reward. If you think that's right, I believe this is wrong. Because there are children of many legal immigrants, real immigrants. I don't even want to call it legal. When you're an immigrant, you are, for me, a legal immigrant. Legal immigrant. When you are somebody trespassing, you're just an illegal alien. So the point is, these people, these immigrants from everywhere, who started the process for years, spending even thousands of dollars, They had to wait. And now they see themselves treated like, you dumb idiot. Why you even bother? Look, if you break the law, you will reward it. At least your sons and daughters will be rewarded. That's not what law's supposed to be. If we are really truly a nation of laws, the law is supposed to be applied to everybody the same way. Otherwise, if there is a selective enforcement, that's called tyranny. That's the definition of tyranny. Okay, somebody can somehow apply laws the way they feel it. So this is very important. I'm very passionate about this topic. By the way, I don't tell you all my life, but I have a mother who is in Italy by herself. I'm trying to bring her to the country. And me, as a naturalized American, it's now more than 2 years. I'm trying to, and I've been doing all the paperwork, following up, even there sometimes crazy, very bureaucratic demands. They make no sense, by the way, but I'm still doing everything they ask because I believe that's the way it is. We can do better. I'm sure we can improve the process better for people who deserve it. That's my mother. I'm an American citizen. And it's still after 2.5 years, I still don't have an appointment at the Italian embassy, American embassy, in Italy, for her to be able to say, okay, now you can come and join your son, not just as a tourist anymore, but as a person who can stay permanently with me. And by the way, my mom, she's not a teenager anymore. She's older. Every day, it's a day that you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You cannot take for granted anything, even when you're young. But when you're older, guess what? Every day that she stays away from me, a day that she could be gone. So you see, regardless, I'm here. How do you think makes me feel when I see all these politicians pandering to destroy the sovereignty of this nation and insulting all people like us who took the time, the effort, and the respect to follow immigration laws? Anyway, so that's where we are. It is a very serious situation. As I said, the sad thing, it is not just immigration as itself. That, by the way, could be a disaster. Because meanwhile, before even we go into the sovereignty of this nation, let's look also what really it means for our tax dollar. Now think about it. New Jersey, the state of New Jersey that is now really a cesspool. I'm sorry, if you still live in New Jersey, you're probably liking it. You like to be sodomized. You like to be enslaved on many levels. Forget about the gun laws. I mean, just look at what they're doing to your tax dollar. State of New Jersey, right now, just voted, and the governor signed a bill. They will pay for illegal aliens education. Yes, you heard right. Illegal aliens education. I mean, think about it. If you want to go to school as an American child, as an American young man, you have to pay. You have to pay. Your family has to pay. Forget about property taxes. Even just for your basic, higher education, you got to pay. People call loans. So, but if you're an illegal alien, the state of New Jersey will pay for you. I think, first of all, it's bad enough when I think about somebody else's being forced, in this case, the taxpayer, property taxes. If you own a property, you are forced, you're extorted with your property tax to pay for somebody else's education. That's bad enough. But when you have to pay for somebody else's education, somebody that's even supposed to be here legally, okay? Remember, there are 7 billion of people out there. Why don't we get them all here in? I mean, when is enough? Who decided when is enough? Should we pay for all of them? How much can we sustain? How much can we be enslaved? So that's my point. So it's very sad, but it's very real. New Jersey already completely capitulated. And now, as a taxpayer, if you own property in New Jersey, you already have very high property taxes. It will go even higher because now you have to pay for illegal aliens education. Same story, by the way, in California. It's happening. I went to California the other day for a business trip, and just at the gas station, I already knew, but sometimes you need to go there and, really taste it again. Sometimes it's hard to believe. I leave Arizona in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, Kingman gas, regular gas, $2.70 a gallon. Regular gas, average pump. I cross the border, bang, $3.90. What the heck? We heard about that. I talk about this also in the show. Governor Brown and all this cabal of illegal aliens politicians or pro-illegal alien politicians, many of them, by the way, really come from the background to be sons and daughters of illegal aliens. That's how they take a country, how they milk the cows, how they milk the middle class and everybody else, like they've been doing in their countries. They come all from backgrounds, socialist backgrounds. And of course, in socialism, there is always the few families who control everything. Okay? So the bottom line is that why you as a human being, you should be forced to pay such an amount of extra taxes on your gas just because some corrupted politicians say so. For the utopistic, nightmarish, it's a nightmare, propaganda agenda. Then now, the big part of the gas bill is going to pay for the illegal aliens' welfare, in this case, healthcare. Think about it. So I find that this sad. At the same time, I find that we need to learn from this. States like California may be gone. Unfortunately, I don't believe there is any chance because the cancer is taken so deep. When you have people who have been so entrenched now in their system, they will vote themselves over and over. They are in the position of control. They use all these millions of former illegal aliens or even illegal aliens to this machine that they call democracy. That is exactly the most dangerous things could happen to a free nation. Democracy means that 51% of the idiots out there can decide the future of the rest of the individuals. Even the 49, even if it was 1%, if 99% of people out there, they are crazy enough or evil enough to say, we want to take your stuff, and we can do it legally, because if we do it through the government, it is not robbery anymore. It's called taxation. Guess what? That 1%, that one individual, still have the right to defend his rights. That's the bottom line. But with democracy, no. That's why they love democracy, because they can control the stupid masses through the media, through the education system that is not education, it's brainwashing. And that's why all the latest New World Order globalist presidents, all of them, Republicans and Democrats, they've been trying to brainwash us that we are a democracy. We are a democracy. No, we are not a democracy. Even a former immigrant like myself, the first thing I learned when I came to this country, studying, reading the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and reading the words of our founding fathers, that we are a constitutional republic. Every one of us should have his rights, her rights defended from the mob. That's the reality. So be sure things are not even over. The fact that President Trump is somehow putting a resistance against this sort of global takeover. I mean, if you think about it, look in Canada what's happening. Canada is completely going to self-destroy itself. Trudeau is destroying, is doing everything the globalists wanted, from the carbon tax to destruction of the borders to sending billions of dollars overseas to every damn nation he wants, to creating and destroying the average Canadian life. But at the same time, be sure that they can bring in enough illegal aliens, and they love Muslims because they know Muslims, it's their tool of destruction, will be their tool of conquer. They will not control, by the way. They will not control it. So that's the story. All right, little break. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. Please, guys and girls, if you want to support the show, we need your help. I need your help. Go to www.zanna.us or go to amazon.com. Google, put my name out there, Gianluca-Zanna. You can download any of my songs for 99 cents. Download also my ebooks. I appreciate it. Okay? And if you need some great things like Arizona CCW classes, you can go to azccw.us. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna. Little break. Do not go away.
Hey, you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You deserve a break. Enjoy a moment of indulgence. It's time for Zanna Coffee. Guilt-free pleasure. Zanna Coffee is the organic coffee to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Only the best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world that I selected. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade certified, sustainable organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Get your coffee bag now. Don't be cheap. Life is too short and you deserve the best. Zanna Coffee.
It's incredible. Trump administration officials have been sending babies and other young children to at least 3 Can we put up the graphic of this? Thank you. Do we have it? No. 3 tender age shelters in South Texas. Lawyers and medical providers. Just, I think I'm going to have to hand this off. Yeah. Sorry. That does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Now it is time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell, where he is live in Brownsville, Texas.
Thank you very much.
It is really hard to control the language and the emotions when I hear stuff like that. You know, I don't have TV, thank God. You know, I don't really have TV anymore, but I have the opportunity. Also, I have to, you know, this is my job. I'm not a news guy. I'm just a commentator. I go through these clips of mainstream propaganda actors and actresses, or whatever she is, to just have an idea, a pulse of what they're trying to do. Because remember, there are out there only 6 companies who control all the media, all the mainstream media, all the radios, all the TV networks, all the newspapers that you see. They are branching out to, at the end of the day, they come down to 6 corporations. So, and you realize that how finally, I say, the majority of the American people, at least enough, more than ever, they start to realize that this is pure propaganda. But sometimes, you know, even for their standard, I mean, look at this Rachel Maddow, or whatever is her name, or his name, you realize really how bad of an acting she's doing. But even if she really meant what she's saying, you know, this crying because the babies, the children, they are separated by the illegal aliens trespassing the borders. Where she was when Obama and Bush and Clinton before were doing this. But let's say just recently, Obama, since she is, you know, in the Obama age, where she was, not a word. And by the way, Obama was doing more separation than anybody else. And more important, where is she when every year millions of American unborn children are separated from life? They murder in the wombs of their mothers because somehow it's legal. Still alive. I don't hear anybody's crying over that, you know. Anyway, so that's my point. I really invite you to look at this as the big picture. The big picture that is a 360 degrees attack against President Trump. And I remind you, I'm not Republican. I have been very critical with President Trump even before the elections. I've been saying things, you know, after all, I'm not really sure about this. And when I hear him in the past words like, you know, we take the guns first and then we go to trial, stuff like that, that gives me the hell out of that. And when he changes his mind on Syria, there are a lot of things I disagree. But one thing I must give him credit. When it comes down to immigration and defending the sovereignty of our borders, this is the only president we ever had in the last, at least, I don't know, 30, 40 years at least, that he's trying to do something. He understands the damage of globalization. He understands what we'll do if we lose our sovereignty. And they cannot allow this because the last 20 years between the Bush and the Clinton, of course, Obama, the New World Order, the globalists, they were being attacking successfully our republic and bringing it down piece by piece. So right now, President Trump is doing something that I believe really they didn't see it coming. I don't know, because there is a point that even if he was an actor, what they're trying to do to him, it's beyond. I mean, the attack on his family, the attack on his children. I told you, Peter Fonda before. I mean, on his daughter, on his wife. I mean, this is nobody ever done any type of a personal attack on any president. And by the way, something we don't know how it's going up, but for sure, one thing has been done so far. Look at the North Korea deal. All this, since the Korea War, that there was even a war, that was never declared by Congress, but since the Korea conflict, no other president was able ever to do what President Trump has done the last few weeks. Not a word of say thank you or great from any other former president still alive. Think about it, how united they are, even them, together to stop President Trump. Somehow, I think, there is something that generally in him cannot control. I don't know. All I know that no other president ever done what it did. We don't know how it ended up. Could be a part of a setup with North Korea. I don't know. Could be a bigger plan from China. I don't know. But for sure, something's happening. So the point is, I really want to say something for the people out there who believe in the Constitution in our republic. If you are Antifa or you are one of these, counter-revolutionary or at least revolutionary, because we are contra the revolution. We want to preserve our republic. It's a waste of talk with you guys. Your brain is already completely melted. I'm talking to a jellyfish. Would be easier to understand each other. With you, the only thing you understand that you're going to be defeated. That's it. If you believe in socialism, if you believe in collectivism, sense of guilt and collectivism, form of authoritism, because that's what you try to do. You try to take over our life. You think that 51% of you can take our rights, can take our guns, can take our properties. Guess what? This is not Europe. This is not a democracy. There is still a layer of American people, generation at least, they will fight back. And I tell you, I see when the American people fight back. I saw these Antifa, aggressors, especially in Portland, Oregon, just last week. They were going after Trump supporters. First of all, you guys, you better go to try to gain some weight and some workout and some training, because you're going to knock out so bad that I feel sorry for you just watching at this video. Seriously. More important, you have no idea who you're facing. You may spend most of your days probably, between frappuccinos and hot chocolate and whatever, maybe some sort of, let's say, keyboard warrior strategy. But in real life, you're going to face people that have been in combat before. You may face veterans. You may face people that they really understand that this is not a game. So I invite you to reconsider violence, because you may get more than what you can chew on this one, okay? Meanwhile, to show you how the system is set up, that how much our citizenship, our sovereignty is being destroyed meanwhile, and what type of insults to the American people, just listen to this segment on Fox News about IRS giving refunds to illegal aliens, tax refunds. I mean, think about it. The illegal aliens who shouldn't even be here in the first place, guess what? They're going to get what probably you don't get. Okay? This is America, and that's why I think really President Trump, even with all these faults, or at least, things that we may not agree, on this one, he got it right, with my opinion, here.
Tonight, an update to the stunning IRS news that On the Record first reported last month. We told you that millions of illegal immigrants granted amnesty by President Obama's executive actions are getting free money from the IRS. Many of them did not pay taxes. Well, it gets worse. Now IRS Chief John Koskinen writing a letter to Congress standing by the IRS decision. And Representative Jim Jordan joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Greta.
So explain to me how someone who didn't pay taxes, didn't file can be getting what I refer to as free money from the IRS. How does that happen?
Yeah, or what we call the amnesty bonus. Once you get the Social Security number, the IRS says that individual can go back, and if they've been having taxes withheld, they can go back and get a refund in the earned income tax credit. John Koskinen, under oath, 3 weeks ago, was questioned in the committee, and he confirmed that, and now he confirms it again with the letter that you referenced in your opening statement.
Okay. Now, is this a refund, meaning that they previously paid these taxes and it was an overpayment, or is it something different? I mean, is this money they actually paid in, and had they paid taxes, they would get it back, or is this different?
No, this is the earned income tax credit, which is not. It's a refundable tax credit, which means they may still owe taxes, but they're eligible for the earned income tax credit. So it's a bonus. That's why we call it the amnesty bonus, and potentially 5 million people who were part of the president's order last November, potentially they could receive this bonus.
Now, as I understand it, Commissioner Koskinen says that this is a decision by the chief counsel at the IRS, but that it goes back to a decision made by the IRS back in 2000. Is that right?
That's what Mr. Koskinen says. We're looking at that. Whoever did it, it's wrong, and it shouldn't happen. But the reason it's going to happen for 5 million people potentially is because of the president's order, which we have said for several weeks now is unconstitutional. But more importantly, the point we're making tonight is, what we're talking about is, it's unfair. It's unfair to taxpayers that non-citizen illegals are going to get this bonus that they helped, their tax money is going to get be used for.
What does the commissioner say about this? I mean, the commissioner's taken a lot of heat for a lot of reasons, but now I think a lot of taxpayers would be pretty upset. It's not like this is a refund and overpayment. This is something very different.
No, it sure is, and it points to the patent unfairness that's involved in the president's decision. I tell people all the time, it's not only unfair for taxpayers, unfair for senior citizens, that now non-citizens, illegals are going to participate in our Social Security system. It's unfair, maybe most importantly. It's unfair to the legal immigrants who do things the right way. Now, their tax dollars are going to be used for those who do it the wrong way. So this thing is unconstitutional, what he did. That's why we're having this big debate in Congress. But more importantly, or just as importantly, it's unfair on a number of fronts.
Do you have any idea how much this is going to cost the rest of the taxpayers to pay this?
No, we don't. But obviously, it's going to. If you got 5 million people who are eligible for it, potentially, we're talking real dollars. We're talking real money here. And this compounded on all the other things with the IRS. The fact that just recently we've discovered there are more tapes that were just found just a few weeks ago that contain Lois Lerner emails potentially from 2009, 2010 when the targeting started. So all this happening from the Internal Revenue Service, John Koskinen's got a lot of explaining to do.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order Gianluca-Zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by Gianluca-Zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
Here we go. You are back. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom. This is the last segment. We look at Zanna. The little segment from Fox News about the IRS giving refunds to illegals. That's just another tip of the symptoms. I remind you, probably many people say, I don't care about these topics. I want to watch the show today. I want to watch the football or whatever you want to do. Do it. I don't care. The reality is this. We are facing a complete long-term destruction of our republic. And this is the only reason why I'm on the air. This show is no entertainment. This show is not anything that you could imagine, something like fun or whatever. I'm just trying to give you a warning and show you different pieces of the puzzle, what they're trying to do and what they're doing successfully, or at least what they've been doing all these years. The plan is to destroy America. The plan is to destroy the sovereignty of every nation. They successfully did in Europe. Now there is a little last gasp, especially in countries like Italy, with the new election. Hopefully they have a change. America, for sure, the United States, with President Trump, was something that I start to really believe was truly some sort of a break into this trend of completely erosion of our borders and sovereignty. And you see, in the segment I just showed you, how really even the system, the highest level of these agencies, they're all part of this plan. I mean, president may be one, but there is an organization around, the bureaucratic, what do you want to call it, deep state. All these people from the FBI top level to DOJ, IRS, and, Homeland Security as it used to be before, of course, and the president, Mr. the Kenyan Marxist from Kenya, Obama. The point is, these people were selected with a goal. They all have the same agenda. They were part of this globalist agenda to destroy our sovereignty. And you saw that when you have no more borders, when you have no more meaningful means about your citizenship, when illegal aliens can get tax refunds, just even if never pay taxes. I mean, this is what it means at this point. When now you have media all around trying to stop what's supposed to be the most important role of the federal government, defend our borders. With no borders, we have no country, don't you understand? If anybody, there are 8 billion people, 7 billion people out there, if everybody is allowed to come here without any type of vettings and checking and discretion, there would be no country. That's the point. And then only economically it would be flooded. Because remember, it's not just come here like 200 years ago. You come here, if you can survive, you live. No. Here there is welfare now. You can see how much everybody can suck into the, teeth of the system. Now, the problem is even deeper. These people, they are voting. Look, in California, they want to make them vote without even being citizens. In many cities, they can vote now, even without being citizens. So this is exactly the final goal of the elite. And the sad thing that the left, or whatever they want to call themselves, they don't see that. They think this is going to be just a big kumbaya, where we're going to have a new, voters, that they all vote the same, because pretty much it's true. Most of these people coming from south of the borders, they will definitely vote, 90%, 80% of them, for anybody who's going to give them free stuff. They come from a socialist background. So that's what they will try to achieve. And means that they will try to destroy the rights of the individuals here who believe in the Republic. So this is a serious matter. I fear for the future of our next generation. Yes, I fear also for us. But right now, even when we think it's bad, imagine how bad could be in 10, 15 years if we don't stop and reverse this trend. That's all I'm saying. And when it comes down to socialism, I have only 2 words. I am your enemy. I'm not even saying you are. I am your enemy. I left Italy. I left Europe because of a socialist nightmare. And socialism is nothing else but cowardice and violence, using the government to steal and to really abuse the individuals out there. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna. God's willing, I'll talk to you next Sunday.
Slavery. And call what socialism what it is. Socialism is slavery, progressive slavery, liberal slavery. Being a Jew, I know slavery isn't so much a state of the body and of chains, but of the mind. And I fear that what the left pretends to have a problem with slavery, but they're always promoting it, especially if we can talk about Africa today.
Yeah, so what the left does really well is that they're really good at linguistics, right? So they call it liberalism, and it couldn't be further from freedom, right? What they're doing is the exact opposite. They're enslaving everybody to the government in front of their faces, and they don't realize it because they don't do the due diligence and look into the policies and understand that over time, these policies are not serving their communities whatsoever. As I mentioned earlier, black people are worse off today than they were 60 years ago, and I'm going to tell you the reason why, as opposed to asking you. It's because LBJ, a Democratic president, introduced the Great Society Act, which enslaved black people to the government system. So as you, I think, gave a shout out to food stamps over there, the strangest thing I think I've seen since I've been on a campus. Food stamps, Section 8, housing, they say, oh, we're getting something for free. But what it's actually doing is it's de-incentivizing them from a lot of things, from going out and seeking better employment because they don't want their handouts taken away. It's also de-incentivizing them from marrying the father of their children, which if you want to break down any community, break down the family first. And that's exactly what the Democrats have done to the black community.
Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight till the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest.
There is no longer any room for hope. If we wish to be free, there is no retreat but in submission and slavery. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated. Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased as the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take. But as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight till the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll trade my life for freedom with no regrets.
It is natural to man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into beasts. For my part, whatever anguish of spirit it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth, to know the worst, and provide for it. Give me liberty or give me death!
Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight till the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll trade my life for freedom with no regrets.
Give me liberty or give me death.